We'll go ahead and call the meeting to order. So we do have a quorum. Can we call the roll?
Mr. Brennan.
Present.
Mr. Burgess.
Present.
Ms. Layton. Present. Representative Howard.
Present.
Present.
Mr. Lawson. Ms. Mood. Dr. Morris.
Present.
Ms. Smith. Ms. Gracia. Here. Ms. Walker. Have a quorum.
Thank you.
I'm sorry, let me call the advisory members, please. Okay. Mr. Jenkins. Ms. Summers. Mr. Green. Ms. Robinson. Mr. Unthank.
Here.
Mr. Coon. Mr. Kane.
Thank you. That will bring us to item 2, the adoption of our agenda. Is there a motion regarding the agenda? Okay.
Second.
Moved and properly seconded. Ms. Jacobs, will you call the roll for the agenda?
Brennan.
Yes.
Mr. Burgess.
Oh, wait, I'm sorry. 2. Okay, sorry.
Just. Continue.
I think we have to, now that we've started with the vote, I should have made a motion before the adoption of the agenda, but let's go ahead and then maybe we can reconsider it.
Okay, Ms. Layton.
Present.
Representative Howard.
What am I doing?
Adopt the agenda.
Yes.
Ms. Herbert.
Yes.
Lawson. Ms. Mood. Dr. Morris.
Yes.
Mr. Smith. Ms. Gracia.
Yes.
Walker. Motion carries.
Okay. So that brings us to item 3, which is the viewing of the new fleet. And this is where I messed up on the adoption of the agenda. What I meant to do was move to amend the agenda to have the viewing of the new fleet at the end of the agenda. We need to reconsider the adoption of the agenda in order to do that. Do I need to reconsider?
I think we just.
Okay. Okay, so then I will move to move the viewing of the new fleet to item, I guess it would be the new item 9, and then move items 4 through 9 up. Is there a second? I would need a second.
Second.
Okay, thank you. It's been moved and seconded. We'll vote to move the item 3 to item 9 and adjust the rest of the items. Is there a second? Yes, Mr. Burgess seconded.
I'll call the roll.
Okay, thank you.
Mr. Brennan.
Yes.
Mr. Burgess.
Yes.
Ms. Layton.
Yes.
Representative Howard.
Yes.
Ms. Herbert.
Yes.
Mr. Lawson. Ms. Mood. Dr. Morris.
Yes.
Mr. Smith. Ms. Gracia.
Yes.
Walker. Motion carries.
Thank you. That will bring us to item 4, our Midlands Transit Riders Association update. With the pleasure of having Mr. Durst in the room here with us today.
It's a pleasure. So, on behalf of the Midlands Transit Riders Association, we want to welcome Mr. Pearl to Columbia, and we are involved to worship in home. So in that spirit, we want to thank the board for the past 10 years of us being part of this group. And we look forward to many more years cooperation between Comet and the Midlands Transit Road Association. And not to step on anybody's toes who are may or may not be politically connected. But, well, some changes in the system have been proposed. We again ask you to focus on the convenience and ease for riders to get from point A to point B, rather than what may be pressure from politicians who don't ride the bus or don't understand the needs of their constituents. So I thank you very much, and we look forward to working with you.
Thank you. And I also just want to acknowledge that Ms. Mood has joined us. We're sorry you can't join with the meal with us today. But happy to see you on the screen. Okay, that will bring us to item 5, the call to the public. Did anyone else sign up to speak today? No, okay, so we don't have any items or anyone for number 5. That'll bring us to item 6, our consent calendar. You can see under 6A and B through 40, those items. Is there a motion regarding the consent calendar? Exclude this word one out.
Oh, second.
Okay, no, do you want to make the motion? We don't have a motion.
Motion.
Okay.
Have the consent calendar.
Thank you. Thank you. Moved and properly seconded. Since it's,
I'm sorry, who seconded?
Ms. Herbert. Okay,
And I'll call the roll.
okay, thank you so much.
Mr. Brennan?
Yes.
Arvis?
Yes.
Wheaton? Yes. Representative Howard?
Yep.
Ms. Herbert?
Yes.
Mr. Lawson? Ms. Mood? Dr. Morris?
Yes.
Mr. Smith?
I think Ms. Mood is trying to vote and she's muted.
Thumbs up.
She just thumbs up. Fantastic.
Ms. Horacio?
Yes.
Mr. Walker? Carries.
Thank you. That brings us to item 7, our discussion and action items. So that'll bring us to 7A, our service update. Mr. Cooksey?
Yeah.
Yes.
So good afternoon, everyone. I just have a few items I'd like to discuss and talk about. First of all, I would like to congratulate, her name is Kitty Trapp. She's one of our supervisors for Employee of the Month. Kitty has been in transportation for 7 years, born here in Columbia. She has 3 children, and in her spare time, she loves spending time with her 4 grandchildren. So we'd like to thank her for all the hard work that she puts in, and we're very happy to have her. So next thing I'd like to just bring up, I saw in some of the data, is we have had 15 consecutive months where we have exceeded or met our target in reference to our mean distance between road calls, but that's on our maintenance side. So I wanted to just give them kudos because we did have a change of guard in our maintenance department this summer. They've managed to continue that streak. And I think the key thing that we have here to comment, our advantages is just consistency. So in that area, we've been very consistent over the years. We have a lot of tenured maintenance technicians. So that, of course, obviously keeps us very strong in that area. Also, this month or the previous month, we did focus on, as far as on our safety side, on cyclists, being aware of cyclists, pedestrians, and of course, security of the vehicle. Also, I'd like to mention, I know last month or it had been October, the corporate office had come forward and we talked about a little bit about our contract negotiations that were taking place with ATU. We have met all of our, we've agreed on everything in that aspect of it. So again, I'd like to thank the ATU in working through some of these financial issues and some other things that we were dealing with. So again, we were successful there. I think last year, this time, if you recall, we were in a different place. But this time we've made some pretty good progress that way. So again, want to thank our union partners and actually sitting down at the table and having constructive conversations. So in saying that, we currently have 7 people in class right now. So we're kind of cranking back up our hiring. You know, one of the advantages that came out of this negotiation is looking on the financial end. I believe we were able to strengthen our longevity. Meaning, if, you know, we're looking for people that want to come in and they want this as a career. Not come in for 6 months, 8 months, and you're gone somewhere else. That doesn't benefit any of us. The way it's structured and how the finances look, it gets stronger the longer you stay. So hopefully that'll give us an advantage, one, in recruiting. So, hey, we want you to come here, stay here. And so you're able to provide for your family and, you know, progress that way. It's very competitive. Everyone has raised their wage across the board. So we feel that we're very competitive in that area. Again, we currently have a class of 7. Next Monday, I have 5 more. We're starting another class of 5. But in the first quarter of the year, I'll be pretty aggressive with the hiring and just staying ahead of our attrition rate. And being very competitive that way. Also, something I'd like to mention is something that we did, we're very excited about, and again, want to thank the comment as well on this, is we had an opportunity, and she's not in the building, or she's not here. We were able to roll out our Leadership in Transit program. And that program really is the focus on young people who are participating with the CDL or diesel mechanic track at Hayward Career Technology Center. We are super excited. That's something we had worked on for about a year. And let me tell you exactly what happened. We decided to take like some different areas in our business of transportation and share with these young people who are our future. And that was in areas of safety, IT, maintenance, customer service, and soft skills. And I think we opened some eyes that it's not just, you see the bus, but there's so much behind it. I mean, just look at this room. All of this makes it go, right? And so we had these 36 individual young people that we graduated. It was over a 2-day period. So again, thank you, Comet, for allowing us to use this facility. It helped quite a bit. It opened their eyes to be able to see how a transit system works. Thank you, Mr. Pearl, for coming in and speaking to us. So they really enjoyed that. We got some good feedback from your perspective on the business and how you got where you were. So we got good feedback on that. Ms. Bowers actually came out on graduation day and spoke to the class as well as we had our corporate office involved. We had them send someone out to talk about professional development and what that looks like, and maybe mirror what we're doing here and taking that back to Dallas, Fort Worth, because it's unique what we did here. Mr. Washington, the principal of Hayward, also spoke, as well as Mr. Wigfall. So it was very ambitious. We're very excited about it. I have a graduation picture there. You know, we can talk more in detail if you'd like to know, but I did want to just highlight that program. And then hopefully going forward, we can partner with other areas, other entities about our business transportation. As far as our KPIs for the month, we had a pretty good month in November. For the most part, we were down slightly in our fixed route on-time performance. It's slightly up in our paratransit. However, we are working with the Comet on looking at some of the lower performing routes, making some adjustments for this upcoming run pick in January. And there's also some training things that Mr. Mack next to me will be rolling out in reference to that. So we'll be reattacking that with some minor adjustments. And that concludes my report. I'm open for any questions.
Thank you. Yes, Mr. Burgess?
I'd like for you to mention the chair board at Hayward Career Academy. That is Miss Alexina Hyde-Fergus.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
No.
Yes, and we want to.
And it was very, very good thing that you.
Yeah, fair. And that completes, I'm open for any questions or
Any further questions or comments from the board?
any.
Just say thank you for a great year next year. Yeah. Okay. That'll bring us to 7B. Do we need a Lucius and River update today? Is there one? Is there anything new to share?
Just a quick share.
All right.
Good afternoon to the board. Quick update, in work with, Mr. Pearl in his transition. From the last meeting, we were advised to, send a letter to Brownstone requesting information. And, they've provided us that information. And from that, we have a meeting scheduled with them on tomorrow to work on the issues and a path forward. So that's where we are now, and we'll provide an additional update on it. Will be provided in January also. So we're moving along with that of identifying those issues and a path forward.
Any questions or comments from the board regarding this item? I'll just quickly try to ask it the right way. Generally, are they being cooperative and
Yes,
Yes.
yes, absolutely. And like I said, what we requested, they provided, and like I said, they provided in the last couple of days, and they also scheduled a meeting with us, so.
great, so proactive and
Yeah.
cooperative. Okay, perfect. That will bring us to item 9, our progress reports. So just a report from the chair. Really, all I want to say is thank you to Bert Foreman for this lovely meal. It is a holiday tradition here at the Comet. And we really do appreciate it. We always have a good meal here, but this is extra special. So thank you.
Thank you.
Good too.
All right, so that'll bring us to the committee chairs report or the committee chairs update. Service committee, Ms. Mood, do you have a report for us?
I don't think I have anything to add that's not on the agenda.
Okay, thank you. That'll bring us to our finance committee updates. Dr. Morris.
Don't have a report per se, but just like Mr. Deschamps gave us a report, Brownstone, I'm requesting that we have a report from Rick Civil at our next financial committee meeting.
I think, yeah, we've got that noted. Yes, sir.
Okay, we want a detailed report, not the ones that we've been reading that he gives us. So just like you did with Brownstone, we want the same thing. Basically, that is it for the financial report, Madam Chair.
Thank you, Dr. Morris. That brings us to C, and Mr. Walker, my chair, Mr. Walker is not here. But that would be the ad hoc committee for ED search updates. And the update is that we have an ED here. So welcome, Mr. Pearl. So glad you're here, and so many thanks to the committee for their work in doing the recruitment and interviews and all of that process to get us to where we are today. Anything further? Mr. Furtis, you were on the committee.
Yeah,
Do you want to?
no.
Okay, great. Okay, and then that'll bring us to D, the intermodal committee updates. Mr. Brennan, do you have anything for that?
No update at this time, Madam Chairwoman.
Okay, great. Scooting right along. So executive staff updates. Mr. Pearl, welcome.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I appreciate that. And I would just like to say that the onboarding has been very good here. Met a couple of board members as well, and been very receptive, and staff has been extremely helpful with the onboarding and getting me started on and a lot of things that I need to be involved in, as well as a lot of the projects going forward. So been working with Leroy a lot, as well as with Arlene and Pam, just all of staff, and have been very receptive. So I appreciate that, and look forward to now the onboarding is slowing down some, getting out, getting involved in the community.
Great. We look forward to seeing you around. Any questions or comments or anything further from the board? Okay. Hearing none, that'll bring us to our Chief Operating Officer update, Mr. Jatanis.
Okay, good afternoon.
Welcome back to staff.
You can find my report on page 158, 159 there. And I'll let that kind of speak for itself, but I'll just take a minute to again thank staff for their dedication and commitment and just the ability to support me over the past year. And also to with Mr. Cooksey and his staff. I think we've had a good 2023, and I think with what we've been able to do, that's a good foundation for 2024. So again, saying how much I'm grateful for their support, but more than anything is their willingness to meet the challenges that we face day in and day out. And I think the sign of a good team is you win or you succeed, but people think you're not doing anything. And I think that's the part of good teamwork, but also the ability to look out for each other and respect each other, even when we disagree in what we're doing. So again, thanks to you and Maurice. All I can say is, man, you've got a great future and a great staff. And I appreciate what we've been able to do in our transition. And like I said, I'm always here to help. I think part of my moving on is making sure that you have everything that you need to be successful, because the people that are here made sure that I was successful basically not only over the past 3 years, really, but the past 10 years, but the past 3 years, they really stepped up and made me, and I always say, a better person, but also a better executive. So thanks to them and congratulations to you, and I wish you a lot of success.
Thank you.
All right. That feels so nice. It's hard to move on. The Chief Financial Officer, Ms. Andrews.
I second what you said. I hate going without him.
Most of the time.
But to echo what a few have said, kudos to 2023 and happy holidays to you all. And as he, said, on paper, it may look like, which is on page 60, it may look like my department does a little, but we're the silent players in the background. We keep the light, right, et cetera, et cetera. So I have not much more to say than what's on my report on page 160. Just to introduce my new staff member, Jacob, over in the corner. So Jacob has joined our IT team. So with Jacob brings on a lot of experience, a lot of years of experience, a lot of knowledge. So with him, I am planning to do a lot internally and less externally. So which is a money saving things for us.
Question.
Yeah.
Ms. Andrews, is this a new position or he's replacing?
He's replacing.
Thank you.
Welcome to the team.
That's
Yeah, and you all keep saying this, but my philosophy is good government should be boring. And so I think Dr. Prince, our Civil Rights Officer.
Hey, good afternoon. The regulatory compliance and DB reports are found on pages 161 through 167, and I won't go into detail every report, but just want to share that when it comes to our DBE updates, now DBE goal, the comment and the contract RTP are on track when it comes to achieving our goal. And we look forward to, as we go into 2024, continue the same this in utilization of DBEs as we have done in the past.
I have a question.
Mr. Fergus.
And I slipped through this, but why is your job title Civil Rights Officer?
Because a lot of the programs that I oversee are like ADA compliance. So when it comes to the federal program, I'm basically the person, the point of contact for FTA when it comes to ADA, external equal opportunity, the DBE program, and some of the other programs that are considered to be civil rights under FTA. So those are all the programs that I'm currently responsible for. What's my, oh, my,
What was it before it was changed to civil rights? Bureau?
Director of Regulatory Compliance. Where it says Director of Regulatory Compliance and Civil Rights Officer. So that's my long. Oh, okay. Just shortened on the paper. Oh, wait, I didn't see that. Yeah, I didn't see that moment. Okay, yeah, so my title there is Director of Regulatory Compliance and Civil Rights Officer.
Chair, just to clarify, the FTA requires that the comment identify a civil rights officer largely for purposes of Title VI and other things.
You took my question, because
I'm
that was my
sorry.
next question. I'll go ahead.
Does that complete your report?
Yes, it does.
Okay, and I will say that I learned that little piece of information in the Comment Academy years ago. So, yay, Comment Academy. All right, so that will bring us to 9E, our Public Information Officer, Ms. Bino Reed.
Good afternoon and happy holidays, everyone. My report is found on pages 168 through 179 of your packet. And I've highlighted some things that are pretty notable. Working with our vendors on telling the story of a third of a penny and how we have been responsible with public dollars. And basically the highlights and the wonderful things that we've accomplished at the comment. I also have attached a year-end 2023 report from Flock and Rally. It is detailed. It talks about where we've placed ads. I'm sure all of you have seen the billboards that are up, the commercials that we're running, as well as the placement that we have in some of the newspapers and things like that. And it also talks about how we the media and the outreach that we've gotten from that as well. I would like to address something that Mr. Green said in a previous meeting about why we're spending advertising when ridership is down, and that was an erroneous statement. Ridership on the aggregate is not down. It may have been down from the previous month, but as we know that there are ebbs and flows as far as ridership from month to month. So I would like to make that correction. Ridership is actually up. And that concludes my report. If anyone has any questions, I will entertain them at this time.
Yes, I don't have a question, but just a comment. I participate in the NOMA cookie crawl, and I was very glad to have the comment that didn't do the hill.
I'll love you and ask you about that. How to do it, I know you attend. Thank you so much.
We used a lot of the little bags,
Mhm.
and I told him to talk to Pam about the reimbursement, the trash bags. Cookies.
So
All right, well, now I'm curious about the cookie crawl. Okay, so we voted to move the viewing of the buses to item 9. And then my thoughts were that we would then come back for an executive session and adjourn from there. Is that still okay with the board?
Sure.
Okay, I'm looking around for okays or head nods or anything like that. Those of you all who are on Zoom, should we give them a time estimate? How should we? Do we have an estimated amount of time?
Chair, why don't you do your executive sessions and they can participate? Then y'all could look at the fleet and
Okay.
maybe.
Does that require another motion to remove it? Like move again?
I mean, not if no one objects, I think you could just move. And but in the motion to go into executive session, you could say we're now changing the agenda again. I mean, it's not a big.
Great. So how about this? I will entertain a motion to go into executive session. It's been moved.
Right.
Okay.
Can I ask a question before you go?
Absolutely.
Mr. Cooksey. I'm sorry I didn't ask this earlier. I thought you were gonna do this later, but I'm concerned about the 2.72 decrease in overtime performance. Could you allude to this? Talk a little bit about this?
Oh, yes, so for on-time performance, so it, obviously each month it fluctuates. I think the month prior to that, we did see a bump. What we've noticed now, and what we've been working on is we've kind of targeted some routes that are basically just underperforming routes that need some attention in reference to maybe some time adjustments based on the data we have. So our strategy is, okay, let's attack these lower performing routes that really kind of drag the whole system down. And in doing so, and we've been working with the comment on that, and detail looking at what that data looks like. So the goal is to focus on those in order to gain more or better on-time performance. So, and part of that, it's not just the adjustments to the routes, but we also do for refresher training of our operators. Because generally what you have, the last time we went through this, we've had turnover, new people coming in. It just changes so much, right? So you constantly have new people driving new routes that they may not be as aware of where the time points are and so forth. So we've got to work with them on kind of refreshing our training program. And I think between the combination of looking at the lower performing routes and the training to work with our new operators, I think we'll see some improvements. Because what we're getting now, I'll be honest with you, 2 years ago, a year and a half ago, you can go out and recruit an operator that had a CDL license, they've driven school bus, or they've driven transit somewhere else. That almost doesn't exist as much. So now I have to go get the person that maybe that's working at Target, they're at Walmart, or they're at Walgreens, or wherever they are. We can take anybody from scratch. That person takes a little bit longer to learn to be safe, but also learn how to drive the system to be effective. So what we've seen over the last 12 months is this influx of different type of employees coming in, and that all impacts your on-time performance as well. So I think we got a good plan, and we're gonna put it in play and hopefully see us going back in the opposite direction. But it has fluctuated 2% up and down over the past several months.
I'm concerned about the fact that I think we have a goal of 90-some%.
It's our goal is 85%.
85, and we are at 72.
73, yeah.
73. Give us, at our next meeting, would you come prepared to let us know what we're gonna do to move closer to our goal?
Oh, sure, absolutely. I can do a breakdown of what our strategy is.
Thank you, Madam Chair.
Sorry, Dr. Morris and Mr. Cooksey. We might want to make sure Dr. Morris and the board knows the changes that he's talking about. They won't take effect until January.
That's correct.
We've been working on those, but since that's one of our scheduled service change, that's when we're going to make the adjustments on the routes that he was mentioning. So probably you won't see anything maybe till February.
Yeah, I'll bring that.
But he can get more in detail on that on the next meetings, but.
You can do it in February. Just bring a report to us.
Yes, I'll bring you what you're looking at. Yeah.
Just to piggyback on what he said, if to reach this goal, we have any reductions in service, we should get a board alert before those are implemented. If you're gonna achieve this goal by reducing service anyway.
Oh, yes, we're not looking at that at all. It's just more of adjusting the service we have. So the tweaks on what we have, nothing as far as from my standpoint of any type of reductions, unless a mandated to the board or to Mr. Pearl. But other than that, it's just adjusting what we have. And I'll be glad to share the whole concept of where we're going, what we're looking at. This is my second foray into a large project like this. The last time that we went on time performance project, honestly, it took about 3 years. We saw the progress, and it was steady, but it constantly, you have to constantly make tweaks each what we call service change. And that's when you see the data, you can make minor adjustments. You don't want to do wholesale changes because then you're going to confuse the public. So you have to take it off in pieces.
One other thing.
Yes.
I just want staff to be on their toes with us. If we can't get figures until February, change is made in January, nobody have an idea what's the effect when we make this change. So we don't know where it's gonna go. We're gonna have to look at it after the changes are made. Then come back with an information on how you're gonna adjust it. Because you don't know which way it's gonna go when you make all these route changes. Whether it's gonna go below 7.3 or shoot past 85.
But we'll have the January report.
Yeah, I'll come
So
back.
the change is gonna make changes in January.
Yeah, the changes are gonna go into effect January. The routes that are gonna be adjusted, they've already been identified.
Okay.
So they know which routes has to be fixed. Most of them I've already checked on those routes and I've already verified as well, so. Hopefully it'll correct the OTP.
I was looking to Miss Mood and I see that she has her hand up, so she probably, as chair of service, probably has something to speak to this.
Yes, I just want to let the board know that this is exactly the kind of detail that we tried to explore in the service committee. And any of you are welcome to be in on those discussions too, but, and certainly Mr. Coaksey can report those details to the board. But for example, when we talk about tweaking routes, an example would be a route where either traffic or construction or things make the current on-time performance requirement for a route really impossible to meet. And so you don't want to have drivers trying to meet an impossible goal on a specific route at specific stops. And so that's the kind of detail that Jackie and Ms. Cooksey are looking at together, so that we have realistic expectations in terms of arrivals on routes. Is that fair, Jackie, Mr. Cooksey?
Yes.
Anything further on that item? Thank you for bringing this, Dr. Morris. Okay. Okay, at this point, I think I can entertain a motion to go into executive session.
So moved.
Moved and properly seconded. We'll take the vote to go to executive session.
Mr. Brennan,
Yes.
Burgess. Wait,
Yes.
Representative Howard.
Yeah.
Ms. Herbert,
Yes.
Mr. Lawson, Ms. Mood,
Yes.
Yes.
Mr. Smith, Mr. Ratio,
Yes.
Mr. Walker, motion carries.
Thank you. We're now in executive session. So anybody who released can be released. So out of executive. Okay,
So moved.
there's a motion and a second. Entertain a motion to come out of executive session.
Seconded.
It's been moved and properly seconded. We'll take the vote to come out of executive session.
Mr. Brennan. Mr. Burgess. Ms. Gleason.
Yes.
Representative Howard. Ms. Herbert,
Yes.
Mr. Lawson, Ms. Mood,
Yes.
Morris,
Yes.
Mr. Smith,
Yes.
Ms. Ratio,
Yes.
Mr. Walker,
Yes.
Carries. Thank you. We are now out of executive session. No action was taken in executive session and no action is required on items that were discussed. That'll bring us to our final, well, so we have a field trip to go see the buses. Should we adjourn before then? Okay, so I'll entertain in a moment, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
So move.
I seconded.
Probably seconded. Everyone in favor, aye? Aye. Anybody opposed? Okay, great. Thank you all so much for your time today, and we'll see you next year.